So we have a lot of screenwriters that watch the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And they have screenplays that they want, of course, made into movies, obviously. Now, your latest film is All I Want?
Yeah.
Okay. So now this is the second script that you've produced in the last, what is it, 4 years?
In the last, I guess, four or 5 years or so.
Okay. So then, did you sell either or both screenplays in the process of getting them made? I mean...
Well, this film here, All I Want, is a little different from Someone I Used to Know, which is my first feature, in the sense that I was approached by my producing partner, Melissa Center, who's also our lead actress. And she had an idea for a story that she wanted to dig at and scratch at and see if it was worth bringing to the screen. And so she approached me, and I was working on another project at the time. And so I was brought on to really help her mold the story and help her kind of figure out what is the most interesting kind of narrative. And during the process of developing that story with her, I became more and more involved with, I guess, the bones and the skin and the skeleton of the story. And during the process, we both became really, really kind of connected to the story, to the vision. And then that's when we decided, like, let's go and try to make this thing happen. And so I went away and wrote the script, and then we raised the money and you know, did the casting and all that stuff. So this is a little different in the sense that the story was not an original idea from the very beginning of me, you know, in my head, as opposed to my first feature. It was an idea that it was swimming in my head for a long time, and I wanted to sort of get it out. So this has been a, you know, collaborative process with another person. But the process of writing the story at the end of the day is still very similar. You know, you're still trying to figure out plot points and pacing and character and length and budget and all that stuff.
So a couple questions come up for me. One of which, first off, is financing. Mm-hmm. How did you raise the money?
Well, you know, we did the traditional route. We went to a studio, and they said no. No, I'm kidding.
Oh.
No. We did crowdsourcing. You know, the first approach was really, we went to Indiegogo.
Great.
And we raised a lot of our initial kind of, you know, budget through that. And then at the same time during the campaign, Melissa and I were reaching out to people on the side who might be interested in coming on board as an executive producer, who could potentially invest in a little bit more time or money to help us, you know, bring this vision to life. So it was a combination of kind of private investments and also Indiegogo campaign. So.
Did you know a lot of your contributors to the Indiegogo campaign?
I have to say, and this is the amazing thing about my producing partner, Melissa, you know, she's really, really great. Her talent is really kind of like winning hearts and minds, you know, really. She's very engaging as a personality. She's very smart. She's very astute. And she went out there and just really, really made a lot of connections to people. And I would say, you know, we had people contributing anywhere from $5 to a lot more than that. And either, very few of them were strangers. I would say a lot of them, you know, were personally connected to her. People who really, really were allies of her. And then the rest of them were either friends of mine or friends of the cast or friends of, you know, the production. But, you know, it's if you look at our thank you, you know, it is a long list of thank yous. And that's because we had a lot of people kind of donating their time, donating their money. You know, this movie would not be where it is now without them, so.
Do you mind if I ask how much you raised with Indiegogo?
How much did we raise? We raised, I think, 11,000, you know,
good.
or 11 or 15. I can't remember. I mean, it's on the web if you guys look
Sure.
it up. We did it over 45 days, I believe.
Oh, okay.
And I would say probably half of them Melissa and I did personal, you know, video thank yous to, because we wanted to really kind of, you know, reach out and show our gratitude. So, you know, a lot of people came and supported that. So.
Great. My second question is, how did you know that working with Melissa would be a fit? Because from what you're telling me, it sounds like you guys have a great working relationship and that you clicked. But people don't always click, and it's through no fault of their own. It's just, but how did you know when you first met her that it was going to be someone that you probably could work with for a while?
You know, I didn't know. And that's an interesting question, because I've had a lot of that kind of discussions, you know, those kinds of conversations with different people. I have friends who I've known for a long time, and we don't really mesh creatively or whatever, you know. I think in the beginning, when she approached me, having gone through my own indie production, having written plays and produced plays and directed plays and short films, I kind of like, I could see the big mountain in front of her that was kind of possibly in her blind spot. And she came to me full of kind of ambition, and it was so pure, and you know, she was very enthusiastic. And I knew that she was going to get a lot of no's. And for some strange reason, and I told her this story, for some strange reason, I didn't want to be the person saying no to her, because I was like, you know, she's going to get so many no's. So I just kind of said yes. I said, she was like, are you interested in having a meeting with me to talk about some ideas that I have about some project? I don't know exactly what it is yet, but I'm potentially looking for someone to help me write this thing. And so I was like, yeah, you know, I'm a fan of her as an actor. You know, we met as actors, and so I was like, yeah. And then it was basically just all along the way. Again, she has a talent of really winning hearts and minds. And I think, you know, at the end of every session, you know, she would go away and like, when are we meeting again? And I was like, okay, you know, Tuesday or, you know, Friday. And that kind of kept going on and on. I just kept on, you know, kind of saying yes to her, thinking that this is going to be such a impossible task, you know. And it suddenly became this kind of animal of itself, you know. And then we both kind of like started to believe in it. And then we were both really kind of going out and winning hearts and minds together. And then to answer your question about the compatibility, I think there's a unique kind of yin yang between she and I, because she's great at the things that I'm not great at. She's really great at, I don't know what part of the brain, she's really great at prioritizing, you know, having some idea of how to take care of the bigger picture in small bites. And she's really great at making sure that I stick to a certain schedule, making, you know, just really kind of allowing me to kind of like, giving me the boundaries, you know, because I was really out there trying to like suggest this and that, and she was like, what about this, what about that? So I think we play different kind of notes on the keyboard, you know, and I think that's nice. You know, sometimes you work with someone and you're both kind of in the same kind of like area, you know, and I think that you start competing in terms of approach. So I think along the way when we were working together, it was great because we were really able to delegate. Well, you're better at doing this, so you do that, and I'm better at doing this, so you do that. So yeah.